Good morning. Welcome to your 15 daily operations weather briefing. We have some mostly to partly cloudy skies across the region this morning, seeing a good amount of upper level cirrus cloudiness overhead this morning. Should see our cloud coverage thicken in the mid levels once we move into the late morning and the afternoon hours, and then we'll see our cloud ceilings develop in the low levels once we move into the evening, into the early overnight hours, with a area low pressure tracking through the region for later this evening into the overnight hours, giving us a good chance of rainfall and even a very slight chance of a thunderstorm across the area. So taking a look at our current surface analysis, we have this area low pressure currently across the western portion of the Great Lakes. Going to be moving towards our region for today. We'll have a weak boundary move through as a weak warm front for later on during the early afternoon hours today. That could give us a brief sprinkle, but most likely won't occur. But the rain shower activity will move through the region for the early overnight hours. And as I mentioned, even a very slight chance of a thunderstorm, around 15%. So taking a look at our current observation of broken deck at 25,000 feet, winds out of the north at 3 knots, temperature 42 degrees, and relative humidity at 76%. So taking a look at our current satellite imagery across the region, you can see we do have cloud coverage mainly in the upper levels across the region this morning. Going to see that cloud coverage in the mid and in the low level start to increase across the region once we move into the afternoon and as well as in the evening hours today. So looking at our HRRR model for today, you can see that cloud coverage thickens, and once we get past about noon to 1 to 2 o'clock, you can see this warm front associated with this streak of radar reflectivity. You can see possibly moving into our region, but most likely won't occur. We'll move into the evening hours. Here's 8 o'clock this evening, and that's going to be when we see our chances of rainfall moving into the area, and even some heavier to moderate rainfall possibly across the region, with a good surge of moisture in the area, as well as some possibility of elevated instability across the region, most likely looking at the chances of thunderstorms across the tidewater and south of that area, but can't rule out with that 15% chance of thunderstorm across the area when this area low pressure moves through, as well as when the moderate to possibly heavier rainfall moves in the area briefly during the late evening into the overnight hours. And looks like the best chance of that would be between about 2200 local till about midnight tonight. So looking at our risk chart for today, we'll have a daytime high around 51, and then temperatures will rise during the evening hours into the early overnight hours to around 55 degrees at midnight, and then fall slowly from there after that towards dawn to around 48 degrees. Our winds today will be veering out of the north and northeast, and then becoming southeasterly this afternoon at 8 to 13 knots, gusting to 17 knots. Then we'll see peak winds with that area low pressure moving through southeast, 12 to 17, possibly gusting as high as 25 knots when that heavier rainfall or moderate rainfall moves through the region as well. And then we'll see our winds become more westerly to northwesterly by tomorrow morning, and calm to around 5 to 10 knots around the northwest tomorrow morning. We'll have a good chance of low clouds as well with this area low pressure moving through. So red condition for our rainfall between 20 local and midnight, as well as a chance we see some higher wind gusts up to 25 knots, and a good chance of those ceilings overnight below 500 feet. So looking at our 24-hour terminal forecast, we'll see a good amount of cloud coverage across the region today, lowering down to 6,000 feet by 1,800 local, with a slight chance or a chance of some rain showers after that point. And then we see our rainfall move in after 20 local, with some moderate rainfall across the region likely. And then between 2,200 local and about midnight, we'll see that 15% chance of a thunderstorm across the region, as well as we'll see some moderate rainfall across the area as well. We'll move into the overnight hours. We'll see that rainfall quickly depart off to the east, and we'll just see some low clouds lingering across the region for tomorrow morning, with the possibility of reduced visibilities as well. Our tides are half to 1 foot above normal. And looking at Tuesday and Wednesday, slight chance of low clouds during the morning. Otherwise, mostly partly cloudy and slightly breezy. We'll see a mild high of 63 degrees. Our winds will be gusting around 22 to 23 knots during the late morning and early afternoon, so can't rule out a gust of 25 knots, as well as we'll see that slight chance of some lingering low clouds during the morning. And Tuesday night and a Wednesday, we'll see a green chart across the board for both those time frames. Tuesday night will be a bit chillier, low of 38, with mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. And for Wednesday, partly cloudy with onshore flow. We'll see a high around 58 degrees. So good conditions looks likely for Tuesday and a Wednesday. Well, that's going to complete our 8:15 daily operations weather brief. Hope everybody has a great day today. back at 10 o'clock. Look at the next 7 days.